It hurts. It hurts too much. Unforgettable pain permeated Zhang Yi's whole body. This is not a feeling, but a reality that actually happened to him. At this time, he is being greedily divided by the friends and neighbors he once trusted and helped. In this end of the world when supplies are scarce, they even ignore Zhang Yi's help to them and swung their butcher knives at him. When he was dying, he vaguely saw Fang looking, the goddess in his heart, standing behind the crowd, with a pitiful look, and shouted forcefully, "I asked him to open the door. You have to leave me a spare rib to make soup." It was this woman who tricked Zhang Yi into opening the door and killed him. Zhang Yi looked at her with hatred and remorse in his eyes. If you want to blame, you can only blame yourself for being too stupid and kind, so that you will be reduced to other people's rations in this last world. How he wished everything could start all over again. At that time, he will no longer be merciful to anyone, and will only lie for himself. Zhang Yi soon went dark and lost consciousness. However, at the next moment, he opened his eyes suddenly and sat up from the sofa. The hell scene I experienced just now, the terrible pain is vivid in my mind. Zhang Yi panted heavily, and his whole body was soon soaked in sweat. What's going on? Didn't I get killed by those animal neighbors? After regaining his senses, Zhang Yi began to look at everything around him. This place is no stranger to him. It is his own house. The comfortable temperature in the air made him feel very surprised. Because in December 2050 in the Western calendar, Blue Star was affected by a supernova explosion 12 light-years away, ushering in a global Cambrian storm. The global temperature plummeted, and the daily temperature in Tianhai City, where Zhang Yi lived, was -2 degrees below zero. The blizzard lasted for a month, flooding the entire city. It is said that in the north of China, it even reached a terrifying -100 degrees, and the whole earth was buried in ice and snow. All kinds of living things became extinct on a large scale, and even human beings died in this disaster. More than -% of them died. Zhang Yi stood up, took out a bottle of water from the refrigerator, and drank most of the bottle with a gudu-gudu. Although the temperature of the refrigerated water is very low, but to him now, this kind of water is simply a fine liquid. In the last days, the only way for people to obtain water was to go out and brave the extremely low temperature of -degrees to dig snow to melt it into water. Such an operation can easily cause people to freeze to death. After Zhang Yi finished drinking the water, he turned on his mobile phone and took a look. It shows the time November 11. There is still a full month until the end of the day. It looks like I've been reborn. Zhang Yi took a deep breath and soon understood what happened. The experience of that month couldn't have been a dream, especially the pain of being broken down by others. It was too real. Zhang Yi raised his head, feeling extremely fortunate in his heart after the catastrophe and the rest of his life. At the same time, an incomparably sharp light flashed across his eyes. He remembered clearly those who killed him back then. In this life, he must live a good life, and will not show kindness to those beasts again. But the next moment, Zhang Yi began to think about how to prepare for the end times. His parents passed away early, and he inherited a house in Tianhai City, which was 120 square meters. There are also more than 200 million deposits in hand, which seems relatively ample in the usual way. But when the end of the world is coming, there will be a big shortage of supplies all over the world. With this little money in his hand, it won't last long at all. After all, to survive alone, what is needed is a huge amount of supplies. Zhang Yi not only wants to live, but also must have a certain quality of life. Diet and entertainment have to be taken into consideration, otherwise, the spirit will be broken after a long time. At this moment, a ray of white light suddenly appeared in front of Zhang Yi's eyes. He felt that his eyes were dazzled, so he reached out and rubbed them. At this moment, a strange idea suddenly popped up in his brain. It seemed that this ray of white light itself was a part of him, and the information of the white light also appeared in his mind. With the thought in Zhang Yi's mind, his consciousness instantly entered the white light. As a result, I went in and took a look, and found that this place turned out to be a huge white space. The area inside does not know how big it is. There is only a large blank space. This is a different space. It seems that after my rebirth, I have some special abilities. Zhang Yi's heart was suddenly happy. It seems that the passage of gamma rays gave him special abilities. With this huge space, it is much more convenient for him to store supplies for the doomsday. However, Zhang Yi wants to know how many things can be stored in this space, and whether there is any limit to the objects that can be collected. His consciousness immediately returned to his room, and then began to try to put the things in the house into the space. At the beginning, it started with teacups and wash basins, and they were easily put in. Zhang Yi began to try to stuff all the big appliances inside. Color TV, refrigerator, washing machine, computer, air conditioner, vacuum cleaner. The white space does not reject anyone, and takes all these things in. Moreover, as long as Zhang Yi has a thought, he can take things out of the space. Zhang Yi was overjoyed. With this huge space, I can store a huge amount of resources. He licked his lips, a bold plan in his mind. Zhang Yi works as a supervisor of the warehouse in South China of Walmart supermarket. As the world's largest supermarket, Walmart has everything you need. It has 3 huge warehouses in Central China, South China, and North China. The standing materials in these 3 warehouses can supply the consumption of tens of millions of people in several cities for a week. In other words, as long as Zhang Yi empties out all the materials in a warehouse and transports them to his own space, then let alone a lifetime, even in 10 lifetimes he would not be able to use up so many supplies. The most important thing is that there are no low-end goods in Walmart's warehouse, whether it is food, department stores, or luxury goods. They are all big names. The quality is very guaranteed. If Zhang Yi can empty out a warehouse in Walmart, no matter whether it is the end or what, he can live happier than a god. As the supervisor of the warehouse, Zhang Yi is very familiar with every shelf, monitoring equipment, and personnel scheduling in the warehouse. It is definitely not difficult for him to evacuate the warehouse. After making up his mind, Zhang Yi felt a lot more relaxed. Cuckoo. At this moment, Zhang Yi's stomach let out a cry of protest. Zhang Yi rubbed his stomach, then glanced at the takeaways he bought on the table. Without hesitation, he picked up the takeaway and threw it into the trash can. It's the end of the day in 1 month. You have to eat a lot of delicious food quickly, or you won't have a chance in the future. Why keep money? After the end of the world, the money will become waste paper, so it is better to spend it all now, so as not to waste it. Zhang Yi turned around gracefully, ready to find a Michelin 3-star restaurant and have a good meal. Zhang Yi walked out of the house, and there was a peaceful scene outside, full of joy and comfort in the world. Many parents took their children to play in the square of the community, with happy smiles on their faces. But Zhang Yi knew that in another month, all this would come to naught. He walked out of the community quickly, and there was a Michelin 3-star Western restaurant not far from the community. It costs at least 5,000 or 6,000 to eat a meal. In the past, Zhang Yi was reluctant to eat. But now he doesn't care. After entering the restaurant, Zhang Yi found a seat by the window, then ordered all the most expensive dishes above, and ordered another bottle of red wine from Chateau Lafite. After the set, 5 yuan was spent. Even the waiters in the restaurant looked at Zhang Yi with ambiguous eyes, thinking that he must be a rich second generation. Otherwise, how can ordinary people eat such expensive things for a meal? Zhang Yi doesn't care what others think. When a table of delicious food is served, he starts to stuff it into his stomach. Perhaps it was because he had experienced 6 months of the icy apocalypse, and he was so moved that he almost shed tears when he ate this delicious food. Therefore, his eating behavior became a little fierce, which caused a lot of discussion among the diners around him. Zhang Yi didn't care about them. You know, after the apocalypse, people can even kneel down and kowtow for a pack of instant noodles. At that time, all civilization and morality will come to naught. While Zhang Yi was eating in the restaurant, a woman passing by outside the window stopped. It was a woman with long fluttering hair, exquisite makeup, and Gucci high heels. It was Fang Yuqing who killed Zhang Yi in her previous life. And next to her was her best friend Li Kaining. When two people pass by a Michelin 3-star restaurant, they can't help but take a second look. For this kind of high luxury place, the two have always longed for it in their hearts. But the funds in their hands do not allow them to squander in this kind of place. But this did not prevent them from looking inside with patrolling eyes. Maybe they will be able to find that high-quality rich second generation, so that they can catch a winner. In the end, Fang Yuqing was surprised to find that Zhang Yi was inside, with a large table of top-quality food in front of him. Isn't that Zhang Yi? How could he have money to eat here? Fang Yuqing said in surprise. Lin Kaining also covered her mouth in surprise. Zhang Yi, is he so rich? When she was talking, she gave Fang Yuqing an ambiguous look, and then said with a smile, "Looking, you are so lucky. The dog who chased you turned out to be an invisible rich second generation. Look at his table, it costs at least -yuan. How can ordinary people eat such expensive things for a meal?" There was some envy in Lin Kaining's tone, because she knew that Zhang Yi had been pursuing Fang Yuqing for half a year. However, Fang Yuqing has been hanging on Zhang Yi all the time, and she didn't refuse, but she didn't agree either. Fang Yuqing is a full-fledged gold digger. She always thought that she could marry a high-quality rich second generation and be a young mistress. But for Zhang Yi, a bourgeois with a car and a house in Tianhai City, she couldn't bear to give up. Therefore, Fang Yuqing has always regarded Zhang Yi as a backup tire. However, Fang Yuqing couldn't help but start to have doubts when Zhang Yi was able to enjoy tens of thousands of luxurious meals alone today. Could it be that Zhang Yi is actually an invisible rich second generation? Fang Yuqing rested her chin and began to think. The more she thought about it, the more she realized it was a possibility. By the way, don't there often be such people in TV dramas? Obviously I am rich, but in order to find true love, I pretend that I am just an ordinary person. She believed what Fang Yuqing said, and her eyes lit up. If it was true, I would have saved a lot of effort. After all, Zhang Yi has been pursuing her all the time, and she feels that as long as she nods, Zhang Yi will propose to her immediately. Lin Kaining also persuaded, looking, let's go in and find Zhang Yi. In fact, she was staring at the delicious table. This is a Michelin 3-star restaurant, and ordinary people will never have the chance to taste the feast in it. Fang Yuqing hesitated for a moment, but shook her head and said, "This is not good. It is easy for him to think that I am a money-worshipping woman. Well, let's wait outside and pretend that we met him by chance." Fang Yuqing is not a fool. She will not lower her posture just for a meal. Even if Zhang Yi is really rich, she still has to act like a goddess. Only then, when the two of them are together in the future, can she control Zhang Yi well and let him continue to be her licking dog. So the two hid not far from the restaurant, waiting for Zhang Yi to come out. Zhang Yi ate for more than an hour, and touched his round belly happily. Next, he plans to go to a nearby supermarket to buy some supplies and go back. Although he has great confidence in transporting supplies from the Walmart warehouse, he must be careful when driving for thousands of years. It is better to prepare some supplies in advance to avoid any accidents. After all, he is a person who has suffered from hunger and cannot allow any accidents to happen. Zhang Yi checked out happily and walked out of the restaurant with the waiter's friendly smile. At this moment, a familiar voice sounded beside him. "Zhang Yi, what a coincidence." Zhang Yi turned his head and saw that it was Fang Yuqing and Lin Kaining. Fang Yuqing reached out and pulled her hair behind her ears, deliberately revealing her fair neck and pink earlobes. Zhang Yi sneered in his heart. Such a routine is a classic green tea trick. What you want is to make a man's heart beat inadvertently. Fan Yuking, the top green tea plus White Lotus, is naturally well versed in this. It's a pity that today's Zhang Yi is no longer the simple-looking dog he used to be. After all, not long ago, he was killed by this woman, and she even broke his ribs to make soup. Thinking of this, Zhang Yi's gaze suddenly became a little cold. It was a naked killing intent. Anyway, it will be the end of the world soon. Even if she is killed, there will be no problem. Fan Yuking felt chills all over her body when Zhang Yi looked at her and said nervously, "Zhang Yi, what's the matter with you?" Zhang Yi quickly restrained his gaze and said lightly, "It's nothing. I recognized the wrong person." He suddenly changed his mind. It was too cheap for this woman to die like this. It's better to let her experience the despair of the doomsday, and then use tricks to kill her. With mental calculations but no intentions, Zhang Yi has enough time to prepare, and with the memory of her rebirth, there are 100 ways for her to die in pain. So now, there is no need to deal with her. The most important thing now is to build the safest shelter so that you can survive safely and comfortably in the last days. Zhang Yi Fan Yuking's attitude is very cold. Fan Yuking and Lin Caning also sensed something was wrong. However, after mistakenly thinking that Zhang Yi was an invisible rich second generation, instead of being angry because of Zhang Yi's attitude, the two of them took the initiative to come together. "Hey, Zhang Yi, did you eat at this restaurant just now?" Lin Caning pretended to be careless and said. Zhang Yi frowned slightly. This woman is not a good person. She is the same as Fan Yuking. She also had a share of cheating her own food and killing herself. "Ah," Zhang Yi replied coldly, then put his hands in his pockets, turned around and walked towards the supermarket. Fan Yuking and Lin Caning hurriedly followed. "Zhang Yi, where are you going?" Fan Yuking asked with a gentle smile. "Go to the supermarket." Zhang Yi's voice was still cold, with a bit of impatience. If he didn't want her to experience the despair of the last days, Zhang Yi would have killed her. Fan Yuking gave Lin Caning a wink, and quickly said, "It's such a coincidence. We also plan to go shopping. It just happens to be on the way." Zhang Yi had already understood at this time. It must be that they saw themselves having a big meal at a Michelin 3-star restaurant, so they mistakenly thought that they were some invisible rich second generation. That's why I suddenly became so enthusiastic about myself. He didn't bother to say anything to them, so he went straight to the supermarket. But the more he behaved, the more Fan Yuking and Lin Caning thought he was a rich second generation. Otherwise, why are you so arrogant? The two followed Zhang Yi, and Fan Yuking even stayed next to Zhang Yi, sometimes deliberately reaching out to touch him. When Zhang Yi looked at her, she made a shy look and turned her head away again, blushing as if she was very shy. Zhang Yi sneered in his heart. "Green tea whore, you can really act. If you act in a movie, you will definitely win an Oscar." Zhang Yi entered the supermarket, pushed a trolley and walked in. Fan Yuking and Lin Caning hurriedly followed with their carts. "Zhang Yi, are you having dinner with someone?" Fan Yuking asked with a smile. Zhang Yi walked towards the food area and said coldly, "Can I eat it myself?" Fan Yuking's eyes lit up, and she quickly said, "Ah, that's not what I mean. It's just that the things there are quite expensive. I thought you were inviting someone to dinner." Lin Caning couldn't help asking, "Zhang Yi, your salary is only over 1 a month, right? This meal will eat up half a year's salary. It seems that there is a lot of money left for you in your family." Fan Yuking quickly gave Lin Caning a hard look. "Idiot, how can you ask such words casually? As a top-grade green tea, the most important rule is, talk about feelings with the rich, and talk about money with the poor." Lin Caning realized that she had said something wrong, and hurriedly made up for it. "Ha ha ha, I was just joking. In fact, we are all good friends. It really doesn't matter if you have money or not. But Zhang Yi didn't pay attention to them at all. He came to the food section and looked at the dazzling array of products on the shelves, as if he had entered a treasure house. In his previous life, he experienced the feeling of eating a pack of instant noodles for 2 days. So for food, there is an infinite desire in his heart. Zhang Yi went directly to the shelf and put the food on it into the trolley. He purchased large quantities of ham sausage, instant noodles, self-heating hot pot and seasonings. Fan Yuqing and Lin Caning were dumbfounded by this move. Zhang Yi, why do you buy so much food? Are you going camping? Ah, Zhang Yi replied lightly. However, Lin Caning became suspicious and secretly whispered into Fan Yuqing's ear, would the rich second generation eat these while camping? Fan Yuqing was also a little puzzled, but thinking of the Michelin 3-star meal, she was unwilling to give up the idea that Zhang Yi was the rich second generation. She ran to Zhang Yi and said attentively, "Is there anything I can do for you?" With free labor coming to the door, Zhang Yi has no reason not to use it. And looking at Fan Yuqing and her pretendingly innocent smiling face, Zhang Yi also had a thought of revenge in his heart. He just wanted to let Fan Yuqing know that he had stockpiled a lot of supplies. Then when the end of the world comes, when she comes to pray for herself, she will reject her severely. The corner of Zhang Yi's mouth curled up. "Then help me push the cart." Fan Yuqing quickly nodded in agreement. Zhang Yi asked Lin Caning to push a cart back. Although the hearts of the two were full of doubts, they still did as they were told. Zhang Yi bought a lot of food that can be stored, including instant noodles, ham sausage, some bacon, and canned food. He also used a cart to store fresh meat, fruits, and vegetables. And some live fish. He wanted to test whether his different space had any special effect on storing fresh food. The 3 trolleys were full, and Zhang Yi handed over the carts full of beef, mutton, and canned food to the 2 women to push them. It must weigh at least 400 to 500 caddies, which made them sweat profusely from exhaustion. Fan Yuqing complained a little, pouted and said, "Zhang Yi, how many people eat so many things? Did you have any activities and didn't tell me?" Zhang Yi sneered and said, "The end of the world is coming soon. I'll stock up more things to live on." Fan Yuqing only thought that Zhang Yi was joking and said with a smile, "Oh, it's fine if you don't want to say it. Why are you making such a joke? It's just that I helped you so much today. You can treat me to dinner later." Fan Yuqing's eyes were full of hints. She was looking forward to Zhang Yi taking her to a Michelin 3-star restaurant for dinner. The corners of Zhang Yi's mouth twitched slightly. "Well, okay. But I'm busy recently, so I don't have much time. Next month." Fan Yuqing said happily, "That's good. Let's make a deal." Lin Caning hurried over. Okay, let's go together. Hee. Of course she was very happy to be able to eat a big meal just by helping to push a cart. Seeing Lin Caning so blind, Fan Yuqing glared at her again. But Lin Caning just pretended not to see it. Zhang Yi went to settle the bill and bought more than 1 supplies in one purchase. He paid the bill without batting an eye. You know, in the last days, the value of these materials must be multiplied by at least tens of thousands of times. Since Zhang Yi bought a lot of things, the supermarket happily lent him the trolley. Zhang Yi unceremoniously ordered the 2 women to help him push things home. In fact, he has his own car, so he can drive to bring things back. But there is free labor, so there is no need for it. Although the 2 women kept shouting that they were tired, but after Zhang Yi promised to treat them to a big meal, they immediately became motivated. So, a group of 3 people pushed 3 big carts of supplies and pushed them back to the community under the surprised eyes of passers-by. The 3 of Zhang Yi returned to the community with 3 carts of supplies. Along the way, many neighbors saw the scene and couldn't help discussing it. Zhang Yi is not afraid of being seen. After all, when he was shopping in the supermarket, some neighbors had already seen him. and Fan Yuking and Lin Caning will definitely spread the matter in the future. There is no sense in hiding. He even expected that at the end of the day, many people would try to rush into his house to grab things. All of this, he has actually experienced. But he is not afraid yet, because in this life, he will prepare in advance. It is to let those people see it, but they can't eat it. In the end, they can only be angry. Zhang Yi and Fan Yuking live in an apartment building. Because Zhang Yi works as a warehouse manager at Walmart, neighbors often ask him to help buy discounted items. So everyone knows Zhang Yi. Seeing Zhang Yi and the three of them came back after buying so many things, an aunt who took her grandson out to play came over. She looked at the food in the cart, as well as the fresh beef and mutton, and suddenly felt a little moved. Xiaozhan, why did you bring so many things back? Are they processed in the warehouse? You can't use up so much. Why don't you share some with your neighbors? This is Aunt Lin, who works in the property committee. Relying on her power in the community, she often gives pointers to her neighbors and regards herself as a leader. In the past, Zhang Yi often asked Zhang Yi to help her buy cheap discounted goods, and his personality was extremely fond of taking advantage of small advantages. And in her previous life, she also begged for some food from Zhang Yi by messing around. But when all the neighbors rushed to Zhang Yi's house to rob, instead of stopping her, she acted more vigorously than young people. Fan Yuking and Lin Caning didn't want to provoke this woman either, so they quickly said, Zhang Yi bought these things, we just sent them back for him. Aunt Lin's eyes immediately looked at Zhang Yi, and said with a smile, Xiaozhan, it seems to be something from your warehouse. How about giving some to Aunt Lin? While she was speaking, her grandson, Xiaohuo, had already climbed onto a trolley, reaching out and pulling out a box of chocolates. Don't look at him as small, but his eyes are very vicious. That box of imported chocolates sells for more than 200 in supermarkets. Without saying a word, Zhang Yi snatched the things back with his hands. Then he said coldly to Aunt Lin, I'm sorry, I'll keep these things for myself. Anyway, it's the end soon, and he doesn't even bother to be polite now. Aunt Lin's complexion suddenly changed. You. It made her very angry that Zhang Yi didn't give her the community leader face. Especially her grandson, Xiaohuo, who was crying for chocolate after being pulled away by Zhang Yupeo. The child is not sensible, or you can give him a box of chocolates. I bought it, and I will give you the money later. Aunt Lin said in a deep voice. Zhang Yi's mouth twitched. Now it's all about mobile payment, and payment is extremely convenient. She said that she would give the money back, obviously because she wanted to renege on the debt. I said, I ate this myself. If you want to eat it, go to the supermarket and buy it yourself. Zhang Yi sneered, then greeted Fan Yuking and Lin Caning and left. As soon as they left, Aunt Lin yelled loudly from behind. Zhang Yi turned a deaf ear. Aunt Lin's son and daughter-in-law are working outside, and she is the only one who takes care of her grandson at home. On weekdays, the old woman only buys vegetables for one day. So after the end of the day, their family supplies were the first to run out. At the beginning, Zhang Yi helped them softly, but without Zhang Yi's help in this life, it is a miracle that this immoral old woman and her naughty grandson Xiaohuo can live for 10 days. Zhang Yi didn't want to make trouble with the corpse. It's not that he is cruel, but after that day, it will be very difficult for everyone to take care of themselves. The life and death of other people must naturally be behind him. After pushing the 3 carts of supplies home, Zhang Yi let them go. Zhang Yi, don't forget to invite guests. Fan Yuking winked playfully at Zhang Yi. But after Zhang Yi saw it, he only felt a nausea in his heart. He was perfunctory. The 2 women originally planned to stay, looking for clues that Zhang Yi was an invisible rich second generation. But seeing Zhang Yi's look of not interested in entertaining them, the 2 had no choice but to leave first. After they left, Zhang Yi opened his own different space, and then put everything in it. Prepare to observe whether these materials will change in space. After finishing this, it was already very late. Zhang Yi did not rush to rest, but took out a pen and paper, and planned in detail the preparations for the next month. Although he is very lazy on weekdays, in order to live, people can always burst out enough potential. If you want to live comfortably in the apocalypse, you must first solve the food problem, which is easy to solve. Except for my daily purchases, everything else can be taken from the warehouse. But don't worry about this, and do your research first. And you have to collect it a few days before the end to avoid attracting the attention of others. If you are arrested, you will definitely not survive a few days in the prison. Zhang Yi wrote down the word food in his notebook and put a check mark behind it. And then heating. After the apocalypse, the energy supply is extremely scarce, and the air conditioner will soon be useless. Then, the simplest method must be used. The fireplace is the first choice. The principle of the fireplace is similar to that of the heated kind, both of which adopt primitive methods for heating. The temperature in winter in Europe is particularly low, and this method is used to survive the long winter. Then the house will have to be redone, ideally with insulation. Speaking of decoration, Zhang Yi couldn't help feeling tense when he thought of his home being broken into in his previous life. I still need to make my home an impenetrable steel fortress. The first is to pretend to be a thick steel plate. At least it must be able to withstand ordinary blasting. After the end of the world, people can do anything in order to survive, and they must be fully prepared. You can't joke about life safety. Zhang Yi has already tasted the taste of death once, and he is absolutely unwilling to experience it again. The problem of the safe house is also easy to solve. There is a security company in Tianhai City that specializes in security work for the powerful. Among them is the service of building safe rooms. Zhang Yi remembered that in his previous life, there was a top rich man who once built a super fortress that could even withstand the attacks of small H weapons. And then, medicine. I have to keep myself from getting sick beyond cure. There are many commonly used medicines in Walmart's warehouse, which can treat minor illnesses such as colds and fevers. But these are not enough. The Cambrian storm will last for at least several decades, and I have to be fully prepared. Fortunately, Zhang Yi's contacts in Tianhai City are relatively good. After all, he is in warehouse management, and he also knows some hospital warehouse staff. As long as enough money can be given, no matter what kind of medicine can be obtained. After these problems were solved, Zhang Yi tapped on the notebook with the ballpoint pen in his hand. Next, there is one last problem to be solved. His gaze sharpened. That's a weapon. The end is coming, humanity is lost, and battles for supplies can be seen everywhere. Human life is worthless. If you want to live, you must have enough force. Zhang Yi is not a master of fighting, but no matter how advanced his martial arts is, he is afraid of kitchen knives. As long as the weapons you prepare are strong enough, you don't have to worry about this kind of problem. Machetes, crowbars, and machetes are easy to come by. There are also channels for crossbows, air guns, and compound bows. But the most powerful one, of course, is the American Iato. This thing can only be obtained through the black market. Zhang Yi rubbed his chin. There is no way to solve this problem yet. But he still has a month. As long as he is willing to spend money, there should be a way to get it done. It took him 3 hours to formulate a perfect plan, and then he took a hot bath happily, and then lay down on his comfortable bed and fell asleep. Early the next morning, Zhang Yi got up from the bed. He didn't sleep well that night, and woke up several times because of nightmares. After waking up, I was relieved to find that I was still lying on the big warm and comfortable bed at home. The doomsday period had taken a toll on his psyche. In order to avoid repeating the same mistakes, Zhang Yi has strengthened his determination and must be fully prepared. After Zhang Yi woke up, he made breakfast for himself. Then open the different space and check the changes of the materials thrown into it. To his delight, the meat, fruits, and vegetables left overnight did not change at all. Meat can't be seen for a short time, but fruits and vegetables tend to be stale after overnight. However, after being placed in a different space, those fruits and vegetables are the same as when they were bought yesterday. My different space is independent of this world. Maybe the rules of time change are also different. It is possible that the flow of time is slower, or even static. This is great news. In this way, I can put all kinds of things in it without any scruples. However, when Zhang Yi checked the few fish put in, he found that they were all dead. After death, it was lifelike, and it did not deteriorate. Zhang Yi stroked his chin and understood some rules of using different spaces. Live creatures cannot survive for a long time in it. It seems that the idea of living in it by myself is not realistic. This is not a big problem. The space in the different space is vast and wide, which is not as comfortable as Zhang Yi's own home. As long as you can put things in it. Thinking about it this way, there are many things in Zhang Yi's mind. Since fresh meat, vegetables, and fruits can be preserved, what about prepared meals? Although Zhang Yi can cook by himself, he is far behind a professional chef after all. In the future, he can only cook on his own, and he will get tired of it sooner or later. So, Zhang Yi immediately called the largest five-star hotel in Tianhai City. "Hello, this is Hongfu Tianxia Hotel. May I help you?" Zhang Yi immediately said, "I want to invite guests to my house and hold a banquet for 3 days and 3 nights. So I need to book 500 tables of meals." The other end of the phone was also taken aback. 500 tables of meals, even they have to cook for a long time. Moreover, they are 5-star hotels, and the cheapest one for a table of banquets costs 3 or 4,000. 500 tables down, that's more than 100 million. The waiter didn't dare to make up his own mind, and quickly said, "Please wait a moment, I will ask our manager for instructions." After a while, another person answered the phone. "Hello sir, I am Chen Dingfang, the manager of Hongfu Hotel. I don't know how to address you." Zhang Yi replied, "My name is Zhang Yi. I want to book 500 tables of banquets. Do you have any questions?" The manager was shocked. This was the first time they had encountered such a thing since the hotel opened. But such a large order, if they come, they will definitely take it. "Mr. John, 500 banquet tables can cost millions. If you need it, we will prepare it for you right away, but you need to make a deposit of 20 yuan in advance." Zhang Yi replied, "This is no problem. I will send you your account number later, and I will transfer the money to you." "It's easy to do things when you have money," the manager agreed, and then added Zhang Yi's friend and sent him the bank account number. Zhang Yi transferred 20 without hesitation. On the manager's side, after confirming the deposit with the accountant, he immediately started instructing various departments. "Hurry up, hurry up. Let's make a big order. Let the purchasing department prepare the goods quickly, and the back kitchen will not accept other takeaway orders for the time being. We must make the 500 banquet tables requested by the guests within 1 day." On the other side, after Zhang Yi hung up the phone, he couldn't help sighing, "Although the money will be useless in a month, you still need money to buy things now." In his hands, the inheritance left by his parents and his own savings total about 200 million. Now, half of it is gone, and to be honest, I still feel a little distressed. But on second thought, this is also a good thing. Many people hold a lot of money in their hands, which later turned into waste paper. Not everyone has the opportunity to spend their money. However, there are still many places that need money in the future. I have to find a way to make money. Zhang Yi's eyes were immediately placed on his own house. This house is located in the middle ring of Tianhai City, with an area of 120 square meters. The community was built 10 years ago. According to the current market, it costs more than 4 yuan per square meter. In other words, this house is worth at least 500 million now. Yes, I'll take out a mortgage, won't I have money? Zhang Yi giggled. He didn't have to pay back the money after borrowing it. It was indescribably comfortable. He immediately left the house and drove to the bank to make a loan. On the way, he received a message from Fang looking. Zhang Yi, the weekend is so boring. I really want someone to go out with me. Zhang Yi glanced at it and threw the phone aside. He came to the bank to start a loan business. Since Zhang Yi's loan amount is large and the documents are complete, the house is also taken in full. So the loan came down quickly, but the bank only gave him a loan of 400 million. Zhang Yi didn't bargain either, since it was all free money anyway, and he didn't have the time to argue with the bank. After signing happily, the bank also transferred the money to his account. Now, I spent more than 100 million excluding the banquet, and I still have about 500 million. It should be enough to redecorate the house. However, I still need to buy a lot of medicines and weapons. The money may not be enough. Zhang Yi touched his chin and began to think about how to get more money. At this time, a yellow hair on the side of the road saw Zhang Yi, who was in deep thought. His eyes lit up, and he walked over immediately. Hey buddy, do you need money? Zhang Yi looked up at the yellow hair. Who are you? The smile on Huan Mao's face deepened, and he lowered his voice and asked, I just asked if you need money now. But the bank won't lend it to you. As soon as Zhang Yi heard this, he understood what the person in front of him was doing. Definitely a usury. Zhang Yi's heart skipped a beat, and he made up his mind. He sighed, pretending to be embarrassed, and said, Yes, my family's business is in urgent need of cash flow. But the bank. When Zhang Yi said this, he deliberately showed an embarrassed expression. Huan Mao also looked like he understood in seconds. But anyone who can borrow money from the bank through normal channels, who would go to borrow usury? He said to Zhang Yi, Yes, the bank is very strict about borrowing money now. There are various rules and regulations, and the speed of getting money is also slow. But brother, if you need money urgently, I can help you with that. Zhang Yi looked at Huan Mao cautiously. Are you really good? I need millions. When Huan Mao heard that it was a big deal, his eyes became more excited. He took out a business card from his pocket and handed it to Zhang Yi. Our company specializes in saving people from fire and water. As long as you need money, you can come to us. Zhang Yi glanced at the business card and said Audiobook Financial Services Co., Limited. And Huan Mao's name is Hu Minghua, the business manager. Zhang Yi said excitedly, Can you really lend me money? I need 500 million. As long as you can help me get through this difficulty, I guarantee that I can return the money within 3 months at most. Hu Minghua smiled and said, This matter is easy to discuss. Our company is very powerful. It is specially designed to help people like you who lack funds. Let's go to the company to discuss this matter slowly. Zhang Yi nodded with anticipation and followed Hu Minghua to their company. The so-called company is in a remote office building. After entering the door, Hu Minghua took Zhang Yi to their boss's office. The boss of this lending company looks like a big and thick guy, but he is wearing a big-name Baleno suit. Clearly an effort was being made to project an image of a legitimate company. However, there was a bit of hostility between his brows. If I hadn't worked hard in society for many years, I wouldn't have this feeling. Hu Minghua introduced Zhang Yi's basic situation to the boss in front of him. Manager, this is a client who wants to borrow money from us. The boss's name was Chen Xiang. After seeing Zhang Yi, he smiled and asked Zhang Yi to sit down. Mr. Zhang, how much do you want to borrow? As expected of a company engaged in usury, the content of the conversation is so simple and rude. Such a company is not formal in itself, so there are not so many rules and regulations. And they have plenty of ways to get you to pay back the money, so they don't worry about your refusal at all. Zhang Yi said, I want to borrow 500 million. Chen Xiang frowned. Oh, this is not a small amount. But Mr. Zhang, as I said in advance, our interest rate is very high. You have to be mentally prepared. Hu Minghua said next to him, Mr. Zhang's business urgently needs capital turnover. When the business turnover comes, the money will not be earned very quickly. Right. The two sang together, and Zhang Yi had a panoramic view. Zhang Yi still pretended to be eager, and said, Yes, I can pay it back soon. The higher the interest rate, the higher it will be. As long as you can lend me the money. A smile appeared on Chen Xiang's face. That's good, our interest is 4 cents. If you borrow 500 million, you have to pay back 700 million. So, you have to write me a 700 million IOU first. Also, you have to have something of sufficient value as collateral. A house, a factory, a car, whatever. Zhang Yi pretended to hesitate for a while, then gritted his teeth and took out the real estate certificate from his body. This is what he took to the bank for a loan, and it happened to be on his body. My house is worth more than 500 million yuan, so let's mortgage it to your head office. I also have a Mercedes-Benz of 30 yuan, and you can take it away if you don't have it. It was the first time Chen Xiang saw such a happy client, so he quickly took the real estate certificate and took a look. After seeing the information about Zhang Yi's house, he felt even more satisfied. Because according to the current market price, the value of that house can be sold for at least 550 million. If you add another car, you won't lose money no matter what you do with this business. However, Chen Xiang still showed a dissatisfied look. Mr. Zhang, your house is worth 500 million at most. But if you want to take 500 million from me, I'm at a loss. Zhang Yi looked shocked and said excitedly, Boss Chen, you must help me. I am very anxious about money now. As long as you can call me the money today, I only need 450 million. Chen Xiang and Hu Minghua looked at each other, and there was a playfulness in their eyes. What they do is take advantage of the fire to rob the business. The more other people are in a hurry to spend money, the more they will be slaughtered. No, this business is really not worthwhile. Finally, after some bargaining, the two sides reached an agreement with 400 million. However, Zhang Yi requested that the money must be transferred to his account today. Although the lending company is unscrupulous, its efficiency is really high. Probably this is the only place where they have an advantage over banks. After signing the contract, Zhang Yi soon received 400 cash in his account. He secretly laughed in his heart. To Chen Xiang, this money is like beating a dog with a meat bun, and it will never come back. Why does it feel like scolding myself? Zhang Yi smiled and left with the money. After he left, Chen Xiang and Hu Minghua laughed happily in the office. Ha ha ha. This business is really simple. That silly boy really took 400 million and left. Chen Xiang said proudly, we can earn at least 2 or 3 million yuan with this sum. You don't have to worry about this month's performance. Hu Minghua leaned on the table and said with a smile, Boss, he signed the contract so happily. Is there any problem with the house? Chen Xiang held the real estate certificate in his hand and said with a smile, this real estate certificate is real. There is no problem. As long as the house is his, he can't escape. With the real estate certificate and the 700 million yuan in hand, they will naturally have a way to get the house over. Not only that, they have more ways to completely squeeze Zhang Yi dry. Chen Xiang narrowed his eyes and took a sip of coffee gracefully. If it doesn't work, you can contact several overseas institutions to see if there are any valuable parts on him to sell. We never do business at a loss. Zhang Yi happily left the lending company. He glanced back at the office building with a hint of sarcasm at the corner of his mouth. They are all good people. Give me free money to spend. From now on, Zhang Yi, Chen Xiang and Hu Minghua will not have any intersections. Rather, there is a high probability that they will all die in the doomsday cold wave a month later. In Zhang Yi's hands, there are now about 900 million funds. It is enough to implement your own plan. Zhang Yi drove the car to the famous Zhanlong Security Company in Tianhai City. Zhanlong is one of the largest security companies in Huiguo, and it specializes in providing security services for the rich and famous. Even sometimes, official high-level trips will ask them to help. The reason why Zhang Yi found them was because in his previous life, he had heard that Zhanlong Company built a top-level safe house for the richest man in Jiangnan province. It is said that the big boss who started his career in real estate can still live a chic life in the apocalypse. The safe house built by Zhanlong Company for them is indisputable. Zhang Yi came to Zhanlong Company and explained his purpose to the front desk. Immediately, someone from the business department invited Zhang Yi to a lounge. The female receptionist brought Zhang Yi freshly ground coffee. Not long after, a burly man with big arms and a short cut came in. He was wearing a black suit, which looked like a thug in a suit. It made people worry at any time that the clothes would burst. But I have to say that when guests see such a person, they will feel full of security in their hearts. Hello, sir. My name is Wu Huiren, and I'm the manager of the business department. Is there anything you can do for us? Sitting next to Zhang Yi, Wu Huiren asked. Zhang Yi took a sip of coffee and said, I need you to build me a safe house. It's the highest level safe house that can withstand the end of the world. When Wu Huiren heard this, his eyes suddenly became serious. If others hear these words, they will find it very ridiculous. Because no one will believe that there is such a thing as the end of the world. But for Zhanlong Company, this is not a joke. Because in this world, the richest and most powerful people are often the most afraid of death. A long time ago, there were some tycoons in foreign countries who did not hesitate to spend more than $1 billion to build a doomsday shelter. Over the years, many millionaires around the world have followed suit. Some people may be genuinely afraid of large-scale natural disasters. There are also some people who simply have too many enemies on weekdays, so they hope to give themselves a sense of security. The Doomsday Safe House of Zhanlong Security Company was born naturally in response to the market. When Wu Huiren heard that Zhang Yi was going to build a doomsday-level safe house, he immediately became polite. They can't receive a few such big orders every year. Mr. Zhang, Zhanlong is a world-class security company. We will definitely be able to meet your requirements. Wu Huiren took out a tablet and handed it to Zhang Yi. Our company's services are all customized, and you can choose the business you need. And there are corresponding prices on it. In the information age, communication is convenient. Zhang Yi took the computer he handed over, and began to carefully screen the services on it. It has to be said that a professional company is a professional company. As long as you have enough money, Zhanlong Security Company can meet almost all your requirements, including building safe houses 100 meters below and under the sea. However, these projects are too slow for Zhang Yi, and he only has 1 month. After Zhang Yi finished reading the introduction to the safe house, he immediately chose his own service items. The first is to strengthen the whole house. For their house, the whole body material is replaced. Walls, ceilings, and floors are all made of 100 millimeters thick steel plates. The window glass is bulletproof plexiglass. The second is the ventilation system, which is equipped with an air filtration system. No harmful gas can enter from the outside. Finally, there is a full set of monitoring system, which can monitor the inside and outside of the house in all directions without dead ends. The doors are all replaced with thick metal doors of the same material as bank vaults, which are difficult to explode even with bombs. In short, Zhang Yi has only one request. That is to make his house an iron bastard that absolutely no one can invade. After checking these, Zhang Yi handed the computer to Wu Huiren. After Wu Huiren finished reading it, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. A house of only 120 square meters is built like an iron barrel. As long as you add weapons, this is simply a large fortress. Wu Huiren murmured. Hearing these words, Zhang Yi's eyes flashed. Oh, do you still have research on the fortress? Wu Huiren laughed and said, I used to be a mercenary abroad, so I know all about military and military knowledge like the back of my hand. A flash of light flashed in Zhang Yi's mind. He suddenly lowered his voice and said to Wu Huiren, Then can you get a gun? This sentence made Wu Huiren's expression serious. In Huiguo, private ownership of firearms is not allowed. Mr. Zhang, you should understand that in principle, that kind of thing is not allowed to be held privately. Wu Huiren also whispered. Did you meet some terrible enemy that made you so afraid? Zhang Yi borrowed the slope to get off the donkey. That's right, I offended some people on the road. They shot very hard, and they had guns in their hands. I just thought, can I get some guns for self-defense? Otherwise, I can only hide in the house and be beaten, which is not a problem. Wu Huiren chuckled. Mr. Zhang, I'm afraid I can't help you with this kind of thing. We are a regular company. But from Wu Huiren's eyes, Zhang Yi could tell that it wasn't that he couldn't get a gun, but that he didn't want to wade into the muddy water. Zhang Yi took a deep breath. Then he said to Wu Huiren, The safe house project I worked on cost more than 800 million yuan. If I still have problems later, it will not have a good impact on your company. He stared at Wu Huiren and said word by word, I just want to have a self-defense guy. If you can help me with this, I can't treat you badly. Wu Huiren didn't speak. He was frowning and weighing the matter. Of course, he has connections. But he didn't know Zhang Yi's background, so of course he didn't dare to introduce it to Zhang Yi easily. You go back first. Although I can't do this, I can help you inquire about it. If there is any news, I will contact you again. Wu Huiren obviously couldn't make up his mind for a while. But Zhang Yi didn't push too hard. Guns really need to be careful. He smiled and said, Okay, I'll just wait for your news. By the way, I am very urgent about this matter. Please come and help me build a safe house as soon as possible. Wu Huiren said, At most half a month. We can help you build it. After Zhang Yi finished talking with Wu Huiren, he signed a contract on the spot. Likewise, he paid a deposit of 100 million yuan. As for the remaining final payment, there is no chance to pay again in this life. Left Zhanglong Security Company. The living problem is basically solved. Next, Zhang Yi returned to the car and called one of his acquaintances, Lu Yang. Lu Yang runs a hunting ground in Tianhai City. Hundreds of acres of land have been covered in Zishan, and all kinds of harmless small animals are kept in it, which are used for hunting and recreation on weekdays. In his hand, there are many crossbows, compound bows, and air guns obtained legally. Zhang Yi went to play a few times before, so he has Lu Yang's contact information. He called Lu Yang to help him buy a batch, and offered that he could buy at a premium. Lu Yang is a businessman, and on weekdays he sometimes asks Zhang Yi, so he easily agreed to this matter. Brother Zhang, why did you buy so many equipment? These things can only be used for hunting, or for playing by yourself. You can't use them to hurt people. Lu Yang asked with a smile, but his words were somewhat cautious. After all, things were sold from him. If Zhang Yi hurts someone with these weapons, he will also be in trouble. Of course, those who can open a hunting ground in Tianhai City naturally have backgrounds. But there is no need for others to take risks because of Zhang Yi, an ordinary friend. Zhang Yi laughed. You're thinking too much. I've made an appointment with some friends, and I will go hunting in the African Safari Park after a while. So get more equipment. Liu Yang clicked his tongue twice. Oh, Brother John can still play. But there are many lions and hyenas in Africa. Pay attention to safety. Yeah. Then it's settled. How long will it take for me to get things ready? Hey, I have already made one here, and you can come and pick it up later when you have time. Zhang Yi didn't procrastinate, and immediately drove to the Zishan hunting ground, and bought the things back. For him, the time now is very precious and cannot be wasted for a single moment. He bought 5 fine steel crossbows, 3 high-grade compound bows, and 300 bows and crossbows from Liu Yang. In addition, he also bought 2 good hunting knives. This is made of Damascus steel, which is very tough and sharp, and it is extremely difficult to damage unless it is chopping hard objects for a long time. These things filled a trunk full. Looking at this pile of equipment, Zhang Yi felt a sense of security in his heart. He took a load of equipment home. Since they were all purchased from regular channels, he himself had passed the hunting certificate for fun, so he was not worried about being questioned by the police. By the time he got home, it was already dusk. Zhang Yi went out again and ate a hot pot meal alone in Heidai. Thinking that he would have to make hot pot by himself in the future, he immediately paid for it and ordered 10,000 servings of hot pot base from Heidai. The waiters in Heidai were all frightened and stupid, thinking that Zhang Yi was someone who was hostile to the business and came to make trouble. But fortunately, Heidai service is better, so they didn't directly turn against Zhang Yi. Later, the manager of the store came over, and after asking Zhang Yi for a while, he took the order. But the condition is to pay in cash to prevent Zhang Yi from being sabotaged by a hostile businessman. Zhang Yi was very straightforward, and paid more than 100 million directly on the spot. Such a generous handwriting directly made the store manager laugh from ear to ear, and even gave Zhang Yi 500 copies as a gift. Zhang Yi left the address and asked Heidai employees to turn around and send the hot pot bottoms there. As for food materials, they can be taken directly from Walmart's warehouse at that time. There are only hot pot ingredients, which are not really sold. Even the bagged hot pot ingredients that can be bought on the market are actually far worse than those in the store. Otherwise, no customers would come to the store to eat hot pot. After eating, Zhang Yi was about to go home when the phone received a call from the manager of the 5-star hotel. "Mr. John, we have prepared the 500 tables you ordered. Is it convenient for you to receive it now?" "Well, you can just send it over." Zhang Yi returned home and waited for them to deliver all the delicious food and drink. These 500 tables of banquets are enough for him to eat for 2 or 3 years. Anyway, he still has 89 million in his hands, so he doesn't feel bad about spending money now, but is anxious to spend all the money. On the way back, Zhang Yi thought about what else he would like to eat. So, he placed orders for several major restaurants in Tianhai City, asking them to send him 100 tables each. 8 major cuisines, including Western food, have ordered thousands of tables. All of a sudden, he had paid for half of his life's food. Soon after, the dining car of Hanfu Tianxia Hotel arrived at the gate of Yuela community. 20 or 30 vehicles were so mighty that the road was completely blocked, which made the neighbors in the community dumbfounded. Uncle Yu, the security guard, hurried forward to stop them and asked what they were doing here. The hotel manager explained the situation, but Uncle Yu still insisted that the owner come over before he could open the door. After all, they were fighting too much, and they didn't know what was in the car. He couldn't let it go easily for the safety of the community. The hotel manager had no choice but to call Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi went downstairs and came to the gate of the community. At this time, the gate of the community was full of people. Among them were the neighbors from the unit building, and Fang Yuking and Lin Caning, who were watching the excitement. Zhang Yi walked up to Uncle Yu, the security guard, and said with a smile, "Uncle Yu, these are for me. Let them in." Uncle Yu was surprised. "Meal delivery? What do you eat? Do you need more than a dozen cars to deliver it? When the neighbors heard that it was a dining car, they were also in an uproar. Good guy, there must be at least a few hundred tables here. Could it be that there is something going on in Zhang Yi's house, and a banquet is going to be held? Could he be getting married? But hundreds of tables are too scary. You can see clearly, that is Hongfu Tianxia, a 5-star hotel. Hundreds of tables have been booked there, at least 1 million. My God, a banquet can cost millions of dollars. Zhang Yi is really hiding his secrets. I used to only know that their family has a good foundation, but now it seems that they are a very rich man. The neighbors talked a lot, and the eyes they looked at Zhang Yi became fiery, with a bit of awe. Fang Yuqing on the side of the road pursed her lips when she saw this scene, and strengthened her determination to take down Zhang Yi. She took the initiative to walk towards Zhang Yi, and said with a smile, "Zhang Yi, what are you doing at home recently? You bought so many things." Zhang Yi ignored her, but handed Uncle Yu a cigarette. When Uncle Yu saw the owner coming, he opened the fence gate to let the Hongfu Tianxia Hotel's motorcade enter the complex. Zhang Yi led the way for them. And although he didn't talk to Fang Yuqing didn't care at all at this moment, chatting and laughing with him. "Is there anything at home that you can't tell me? Aren't we good friends? In the future, I hope to know more about you. Don't treat me as an outsider." Zhang Yi took a deep look at her, and said with a sneer, "I bought these things for my boss. And the last time I went to a Western restaurant for dinner, it was also his treat." As he said that, he sighed, "Hey, if only I were so rich." Fang Yuqing's expression suddenly changed. You are not kidding me, are you?" Zhang Yi spread his hands. "How could I lie to you? We've known each other for several years, and it's not like you don't know anything about our family. My parents have passed away, and I am just a supervisor in the warehouse. How can I have any money?" His explanation made Fang Yuqing's face cloudy and uncertain. She had indeed suspected that the rich second generation, at least in the family, had to do big business. And Zhang Yi's parents passed away for several years. Although they left some family property, they are not considered as rich second generation. Now that Zhang Yi has personally admitted that he is not the rich second generation, all the doubts in Fang Yuqing's heart can be explained. She silently distanced herself from Zhang Yi, then brushed her hair together, and said with a polite smile, "Whether you are a rich second generation or not, we are all best friends, aren't we? I am not a woman who worships money." The word friend was deliberately bitten heavily by her. Green tea never fails to do things, because she still needs a spare tire and a licking dog to serve herself. The corner of Zhang Yi's mouth twitched, and he stopped talking to her. On the other hand, the employees of Hongfu Tianxia began to move tables of feasts to Zhang Yi's house. What Zhang Yi ordered were all top-notch, such as abalone, ginseng belly, Australian dragon, truffle, and caviar. It would have been difficult for his house to accommodate a feast of 500 tables. Even the hotel manager looked a little headache. But Zhang Yi told them that they just need to move their things into the house. He himself secretly took advantage of the transporter to go downstairs, knocking all the food into his own different space. He did it very covertly, so no one found out. Soon, all the 500 tables of feasts were collected by him in the different space. At night, Zhang Yi received a call from Wu Huiren, the manager of Zhanlong Company. Wu Huiren told Zhang Yi that they were ready and could come to build a safe house for Zhang Yi at any time. Ask Zhang Yi when it is convenient to start work. Zhang Yi told them directly that they could come over tomorrow. And he plans to move to the hotel first. After talking about the safe house, Zhang Yi was waiting for Wu Huiren's next words. He asked Wu Huiren for another very important thing, and that was to create an equalizer for all beings. After hesitating for a while, Wu Huiren lowered his voice and said to Zhang Yi, "If you really need this, I can recommend a door for you. But the price will be a little expensive." Zhang Yi nodded, Of course he understands this. But in terms of money, he doesn't care at all now. This is not a problem, as long as the quality is good. Wu Huiran said very easily, "Okay, since this is the case, I will introduce you. I will notify you of the transaction location in 3 days." The way of the gun was settled, and Zhang Yi felt a lot more relaxed. In the end of the world, with this thing, no matter when encountering human or non-human things, you can have a very huge confidence. The next day, Zhang Yi packed some important things in the house into his own space. The house is going to be a safe house, so he has to temporarily move to a hotel to live in. Early in the morning, 3 black vans drove into Eula community. A large number of Zhanlong company workers in work clothes got off the car and began to measure the data of Zhang Yi's house. Many neighbors around saw this scene, and their eyes were full of curiosity. Did Zhang Yi take some wrong medicine recently? Why does he keep getting so many moths? A few colleagues laughed and said, "That's right, I was in the supermarket a few days ago and saw him buying 3 trolleys of food." Ha ha ha. Those who don't know think that the end of the world is coming. If you hoard so much food, won't it all be wasted if it expires? Maybe there is something wrong with the spirit. The big guy expressed incomprehension to Zhang Yi's abnormal behavior, but no one cared, and only regarded Zhang Yi as a joke. Even Fang Yuqing and Li Keining thought Zhang Yi was out of his mind. Li Keining suddenly realized, "I figured it out, no wonder he went to eat at a Michelin 3-star restaurant that day." It turned out that his brain was broken. Fang Yuqing frowned, but her mood was particularly unhappy. Thinking of the day when she took the initiative to strike up a conversation with Zhang Yi and helped him push so many things home, her feet were so tired that she felt so angry. "This Zhang Yi, what the hell is he doing?" Li Keining said worriedly. "He promised to treat us to a big meal, won't you forget? She really wants to go to a Michelin 3-star restaurant for a meal." Fang Yuqing sneered, "Let's forget it. Seeing his mental state recently, even if he invites me to eat, I won't go. What a shame if someone finds us having dinner with him. She plans to catch a rich husband in the future, so she must not ruin her reputation." When Li Keining heard what Fang Yuqing said, although she was very unwilling in her heart, she had no choice but to give up. On Zhang Yi's side, he didn't care what the neighbors thought of him at all. After a month, they will understand who is the real joke. Zhang Yi left the house, then drove to the Walmart warehouse. Today is Monday, and it's time to go to work. By the way, I will check in the warehouse so that I can start at that time. Walmart's warehouse is located in the Economic Development Zone, which is the edge of Tianhai City. Because the land price here is relatively cheap, the warehouses of many large groups in Tianhai City are gathered here. Even the warehouses of some pharmaceutical companies are here. This made it easier for Zhang Yi to go back and get some special drugs. After arriving at the Walmart warehouse, Zhang Yi clocked into work as usual. As the supervisor of the warehouse, Zhang Yi is very familiar with this place. It can be said that every warehouse and even every shelf is very precious to him. He would feel particularly bored when he came here. But today, seeing these huge warehouses and those materials worth tens of billions, he could only feel unstoppable excitement. Because soon, these things will be taken away by him and become his most important living resources in the last days. As the South China General Warehouse of Walmart, the amount of materials here is beyond anyone's imagination. There are tens of thousands of Cokes in stock alone. The entire warehouse covers an area of several million square meters, and all kinds of living materials are piled up to the brim. Among them, in addition to food, clothing, hardware tools, and other daily necessities, there are even cars, drones, diesel generators, and barrels of gasoline. It can almost be said that as long as it is allowed to sell in supermarkets, you can definitely buy it here. Zhang Yi has worked here for many years, and he has long been familiar with what is placed on each shelf. Moreover, He is also very clear about the shift schedule and camera positions here. Although the monitoring here is very strict, but he is familiar with the loopholes in it, and he can paralyze the entire monitoring system within 10 minutes. Then use the ability of the system space to take away all the things here. But now, Zhang Yi is not in a hurry to do it. There is still plenty of time, and he doesn't want to startle the snake. After wandering around in the warehouse, he left. Carrying a pack of yellow crane tower, I came to the warehouse of ruining pharmaceutical company next door. Since he works in one place on weekdays, he is also familiar with the staff here. After Zhang Yi came over, he found Cho Heran, a manager of their warehouse. Everyone knows everything on a daily basis. In the warehouse of a large group, there must be people who rely on the warehouse to eat the warehouse. This Cho Heran's brother-in-law is the vice president of ruining group. So on weekdays, he often steals some medicines from the warehouse and sells them. After Zhang Yi found Cho Heran, he chatted with him, and then stated his purpose in a circumstantial manner. I hope I can get a few boxes of special medicines for acute illnesses. Cho Heran was on guard at first. But later, Zhang Yi said that as long as he could get the medicine over, he could double the price on the market. Hearing that Zhang Yi was willing to pay such a high price, Cho Heran couldn't hold back immediately. In the end, the two made a deal at a price of 300 million 5 boxes of medicine. After getting the medicine, Zhang Yi basically prepared all the materials needed for the doomsday. With less than a month to go before the end, he certainly wasn't in the mood to continue working. So he came to the warehouse manager's office and lied that a grandfather of the same clan in his hometown had passed away, and he wanted to go back to attend the funeral and ask for 20 days off. Zhang Yi is very popular in daily life and has a good relationship with the manager, so he was not made things difficult, and he easily asked for leave. For the next period of time, Zhang Yi planned to lie down comfortably in a 5-star hotel. Then wait for the supplies you purchased to arrive one after another, and the construction of the safe house is completed. When he came out of the manager's office, he happened to see Fang looking pouring coffee in front of the coffee machine with her butt pouted. It has to be said that this woman does have some green tea capital, and there is a sense of coquettishness in her bones. Pour a cup of coffee, that little butt doesn't forget to twist. No, some young male dogs were attracted to come over and show their hospitality. A man next to him smiled and invited Fang Yuking to watch Jay Chu's concert together, waving the tickets in his hand as if showing off. This man is Zhou Peng, and Zhang Yi has a deep impression of him, because they also live in the same community. And he is Fang Yuking's loyal-looking dog. He was one of the people who killed Zhang Yi in the previous life. Zhou Peng showed great hospitality to Fang Yuking from the side. But it was obvious that Fang Yuking was not interested in men like Zhou Peng. In terms of economic conditions, Zhou Peng is much worse than Zhang Yi, and he even rents a house. However, Fang Yuking still smiled and said to him, "Thank you, Zhou Peng. But I just had an appointment with a friend at night." What a coincidence! A look of disappointment flashed across Zhou Peng's face. For these 2 concert tickets, he spent a whole month's salary. Originally, she had hoped to take the opportunity to confess her love to Fang Yuking during the concert. But I didn't expect it to be in vain. When Zhang Yi saw this scene, a playful smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He knew that Zhou Peng, a licking dog, would not get any results in the end. But when Zhou Peng was disappointed, he saw Zhang Yi next to him with a smile on his face, and immediately became angry. In order to divert his embarrassment, he immediately walked over and said to Zhang Yi, you are too rude. A big man actually asked a woman to help you carry things. Are you embarrassed? Yuking came to work today and kept complaining about her back being sore. Next time something like this happens again, I hope you don't bother her. Zhang Yi glanced at Fang Yuking. It turned out that this woman had spread the word. Fang Yuking also said hypocritically, "It's all right. In fact, There is nothing wrong with her body. It's just that I can't do the hard work, and it seems that my waist is a little twisted. As she spoke, she reached out and pinched her waist, then frowned with a painful expression. Chopin wanted to show his masculinity in front of Fang Yuking. Immediately, he pointed at Zhang Yi arrogantly. Hurry up and give Yuking 500 yuan to see a doctor. Unexpectedly, Zhang Yi's eyes turned cold, and he stared at Zhou Peng and cursed. It was her own initiative to help me move things. I didn't ask her for help. Besides, what kind of thing are you, here to tell me what to do? Do you really think you are a human being? Zhang Yi scolded so heartily that both Zhou Peng and Fang Yuking were stunned. Zhou Peng is just an ordinary clerk in the warehouse, with no power or power. The reason why he dared to scold Zhang Yi was because Zhang Yi usually had a good temper and didn't like to care about others. But seeing that Zhang Yi was really angry, Zhou Peng was a little scared immediately. Why are you yelling so loudly? I was just discussing with you. Zhang Yi sneered, turned his head and left. He was too lazy to talk to Zhou Peng. Because now Zhang Yi looks at anyone as if he is looking at a dead person. 1 month later, 99% of the people around him will die in the extreme cold storm of the doomsday. Why should he talk nonsense to the dead? After Zhang Yi left, Zhou Peng ran to Fang Yuking and beeped softly. Looking, I just said that Zhang Yi is not a good guy. You should stay away from him in the future. Fang Yuking frowned, feeling puzzled in her heart. Because in the past few days, Zhang Yi seemed to be a completely different person. After seeing her, he didn't take the initiative to come over to say hello. I don't even talk to her every night, just say good night to her. There must be something weird. Fang Yuking thought secretly in her heart. After Zhang Yi got off work, he drove to a 5-star hotel in Tianhai City. It happened to be Hongfu Tianxia, which he ordered before. When Hongfu Tianxia's manager heard that Zhang Yi was coming, he immediately asked someone to arrange a room for him with a big smile on his face. A room in a 5-star hotel costs more than 1,000 a night. Zhang Yi didn't feel bad at all. Anyway, he still has a few million in his hand, and he would feel it was a waste if he couldn't spend it all. That night, Bai Lianhua Fang Yuking took the initiative to send a message to Zhang Yi. Fang Yuking, Zhang Yi, I passed by your house today and saw someone doing renovations. The corner of Zhang Yi's mouth twitched. Well, yes. Fang Yuking, it feels strange to you recently. You are hoarding things and decorating the house again. Is something going to happen recently? Zhang Yi couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Although this white lotus is bad, his brain is not stupid at all. It seemed that his strange behavior for a while had finally caught her attention. But Zhang Yi doesn't care. Other people's eyes don't mean anything to him now. It's nothing. He replied coldly, and then threw the phone aside. On the other end of the phone, Fang Yuking looked at Zhang Yi, who was indifferent to her, but felt very uncomfortable in her heart. In the past 2 years, Zhang Yi has been very kind to her. And he always greets her with care, and finds various reasons to chat with her every night. However, recently, he seemed to be a completely different person towards her. His attitude became cold and he didn't even talk to her, and he didn't even take the initiative to chat with her. This made Fang Yuking feel very uncomfortable. She may not be interested in Zhang Yi, but Zhang Yi is absolutely not allowed to lose interest in her. In Fang Yuking's view, it was a sign that a fish in her pond had escaped. Although Zhang Yi is not a rich second generation, he can be regarded as a high-quality middle-class Ziokai. If she can't find a rich second generation to marry in the future, she can still give Zhang Yi a chance to take over. Fang Yuking picked up her phone and sent another message. I feel like we've lost touch recently. It makes me feel a little lonely. But after waiting for a long time, there was no reply. Fang Yuking bit her lip, feeling a little irritable in her heart. Damn Zhang Yi, has he gotten into trouble recently? This girl took the initiative to find him, but he dared not reply to my message. On the side, her roommate Li Caning heard Fang Yuking's complaints and walked over with a smile. That Zhang Yi is really weird recently. Who knows why he bought so much food and drink, and also ordered so many banquets from the hotel. It really looks like there will be a shortage of supply soon. Fang Yuking frowned slightly when she heard the sentence. She said to Li Caning, "Ningning, do you think something will happen after a while?" Zhang Yi started stocking up after getting the news. Li Caning was stunned for a moment when he heard this, and then laughed out loud while covering his stomach. "Looking, are you stupid? If something really happens, there will be an official notification. It's good for us to be at ease. If we really stock up on supplies, others will laugh at us as fools." After Fang Yuking heard this, she also smiled self-deprecatingly. Makes sense. Zhang Yi stayed in the suite of the five-star hotel for several days. He didn't go anywhere. In the past few days, on the one hand, he purchased banquets in major hotels wantonly. On the other hand, in the room, he began to practice the use of compound bows and crossbows. Fortunately, Zhang Yi liked hunting in the past and had a good foundation. Now within 15 meters, his hit rate is particularly high. Especially with a professional-grade compound bow in hand, such modern equipment can allow an ordinary person to shoot an arrow comparable to an ancient archer. Not to mention dealing with humans, even wild boars, jackals, and large dogs can cause good damage.